Hey everyone, it's Hydropump here. I know it's been a while, but I am back with another deck profile here. Today's deck profile is going to be Blackwings or a slash discussion. Yes, Blackwings, a deck that hasn't been talked about very much at all in this format. Just kidding. But Blackwings is a deck I've played before. It's been a couple years, and rather than just me playing like all these like off the wall decks, um, I just wanted to go back to one of the top decks and see like just to play it and see if I can change anything about it, if I want to change anything. I have some good talking points with the deck and how I feel about things. I've been playing the deck a lot on the ladder, which I mean ladder is whatever, but you do get to see like I guess some kind of results with your deck. And been playing the Iron Nerd locals. I played a few online tournaments as well. Um, so yeah, these are just things I want to talk about with the deck and just share my thoughts. So yeah, we'll just jump right into the deck profile. Alrighty, here we are. So yeah, another reason I wanted to do this deck profile is because I realized I never did a paper deck profile with Blackwings before. So I'm not trying to like have like super hot takes or anything. I mean, it's still Blackwings. So there's not gonna be a ton of changes, but so yeah, just starting off, we have just one Sirocco. The reason we're just only playing one Sirocco is just because you can't normal summon a turn one. No, I'm kidding. We we play the full three Sirocco still. I mean, one of the best beaters in the format. Great against Vayu and Blackwing mirrors. Because you get the pump effect, so you can just kind of run over anything. And he's really good with I mean, don't really need me to explain Rocco. I'm just gonna kind of just go through these guys. We have 3 Shura, not really a talking point, but I wanted to go off Shura here. These super rare OG supers are really cool. Came out of a tin back in the day. We got 3 Bora. I guess there's like some talking points with Bora. Some people say like, oh, Bora's not that good. Only play 2. I guess I tested 2 Bora when I first started getting back into Blackwings a couple months ago, just testing out the deck. But you really just need like you need Blackwing monsters at the end of the day, and you need to put damage up on the board. So board is just really good. It's really important to get a level 4 in the grave as soon as possible for Blizzard. We play 3 Kalut. By the way, these German Siroccos, they're really cheap. They're really good alternatives to like the Turbo Pack Super Siroccos that are like $100 or something crazy. And some reason this Kalut came out of the same set, so this is German as well. I don't know, some reason that I'm trying to get like the right angle, but these supers go crazy. I don't know if it's gonna show up. You can just kind of see it there. Just yeah, it looks really cool. I'm just like mesmerized by like the foils on some of these Blackwing cards. Anyways, yeah, 3 Kalut, not really a talking point. Something is I guess a talking point is I guess 3 or 2 Blizzard. Blizzard's I tested 2 starting off with, but there was a couple times where I was like, dang, I really need the 3rd Blizzard. If you ever get in any kind of sort of grind game, you really need the 3rd Blizzard. For like one of the best like top deck cards once you get to like the mid to late game. Then we got the 1 Gale. Obviously really broken. And I guess another talking point is double Vayu. Now Vayu's this I tested 1 for a long time, and there was I guess a similar thing with Blizzard. It's like really just several times where you just need the 2nd one, or as you get to like a mid to late game scenario where it's like you're summoning Blizzard with Whirlwind, and it's like, okay, well if you have Whirlwind you should win, but yeah, you should win, but if you don't have anything to go off Whirlwind, then like what are you doing? So you get to like some scenarios where you get to like mid to late game, we have, you know, Rocco in the grave, and you can make a, you know, level 6 Brio play, but you don't have a value to search. So you can like just search this for free, make Brio, ditch this, get armed wing, and then that's like 4,600 off your opponent's life, and that's probably game. But yeah, you kind of miss that a lot if you don't have the second value. But yeah, I mean, it does suck to have value in open hands quite often. That's what kind of why I didn't want to play 2, but at the end of the day, it's still a Blackwing monster, and you can do things with it, so it's not. I think it's probably just better to play 2 than play 1. And we play Dark Arm Dragon, obviously. Can't really play Blackwings without them. We do play the Gores. I was testing with and without Gores. I think Gores just is a really solid card. Really nice if you could just drop it early and just have like a free body. So yeah, Gores is pretty nice there. Onto the spells. This is kind of like the staple spells. Do Whirlwind, obviously. Allure Darkness. Show these off. Don't have the super whirlwinds, not that bougie. But ultras are fine. Got the Allure Darkness. We got MST. I tested Giant Trunade instead of MST, and there was really just several times where it's like MST would just be better than Giant Trunade, because you were just, there's a lot of times where you're just Trunading one away or something like that, and then you summon a guy. So yeah, MST was just, it's kind of like just like a decent card all around. Yeah, obviously Heavy Storm. And we got Brain Control. So yeah, nothing really too special about these. There's another spell I will consider playing. I'll talk about soon. Onto the traps. So we're doing like the 6 draw trap thing. Now this is something that Hector HT19 came up with last year, and he won a ribbit with it, playing 6 draw traps, and people have been playing whatever ratios of these, but I really enjoyed these. Now you can obviously get away with, like, at the end of the day it's Blackwings, so you can get away with like a build from like 3 years ago or something with like, you know, 3D prisons and all that stuff. I mean, I think Blackwings just won a online tournament over like 100 players playing like a build with like Starlight Road, 3D prisons, and all that. So like, it's obviously viable still, but the draw traps really nice when it comes to like I guess sideboarding against certain decks too, which I'll get into. And yeah, we play 3 Icarus attacks. I think you should always just be playing 3 of this card. It's like this, so nutty. Whenever you like get in a scenario where because you need to get your Blackwings in the grave. So if you ever go like summon Shura, it gets bottomless, you need Icarus attack just to get it in the grave. That's like the biggest thing for like a Blizzard play. So that's why I like really just like Icarus attack, gets your guys in the grave safely, so you can do things with them in the future. Blizzard or Vayu plays. But yeah, this card's just really good. And the way people sideboard against this deck sometimes it makes this card even better. So that's nice. And something that's might be controversial is main decking in 2 deck devastation virus. Like, so when I was getting into playing Blackwings a couple months ago, I was like, I don't really like this card in theory. In Blackwings, that like a lot of builds this main deck 1 and maybe side like a second one, or I've even seen builds don't play it at all, which I was kind of leaning towards not playing it at all. I tested it with and without it. And the bottom line is you just need more Saki cards in Blackwing. like you got Whirlwind and Dad, so if you're opening those, you're probably just winning most games anyways. But I really feel like you just need more sack potential cards. If you're running into a field of, Blackwing mirrors and Vayu matchups, it's really hard to consistently win those just throughout the day. So you just need like some potential blowout cards against those matchups because there's not like a lot of blowout cards against those decks. Um, so if your opponent opens like Black Whirlwind and just popping off, like you need to have like something to kind of combat that. Like I've had times while I was playing against Blackwing mirrors and there was all this card. It's like, okay, I'm discarding like Double Blizzard and Colute, and I just lose. Like that's like going to neg there. So, and this card just wins like it really just makes a lot of games free. So I think it's a really good replacement for Oppression. And I'll kind of like share my thoughts on Oppression a little bit. Yeah, I just thought like this deck needs more like sack potential cards, and I think this is just like a really good card. I've just like straight up won games with this in the main deck. And we play Double Balance Trap Hole. The card's fine. I'll share my thoughts about this more later, but and then Trap Dust Shoot, not foil. So yeah, cards is busted. Now cards that I'm not main decking, or side decking Solemn Judgment. Just haven't really liked this card. If you don't have like floodgates or real traps to protect, then Solemn isn't really all that great. And it always feels a little awkward just having it in your opening hand because you don't really want to set it. But again, it's a trap card, so you kind of want to set it. It's nice later game, but really not trying to get to the later game with Blackwing, so yeah, just not playing Solemn. If you're playing like a more traditional build like Starlight Road, D Prisons, and all that, and I'll get to D Prison in a second, then Solemn's probably great. So this kind of like depends what you're trying to do. I'm also not playing Mirror Force. Mirror Force, I was playing it for a while and it's always felt lackluster. Yeah, it's just, it kind of sits there while your opponent's just going crazy, and then they just make a Stardust Dragon anyways. And I guess I'll go along with this. I'm also just side decking the Torrential Tribute. Now this has been like, originally this was like something that never played in Blackwings because like, oh, you never want to blow up your board of monsters, you want to keep the field presence, blah blah. But then people just like started, well, this card's too broken, you kind of need it. I'm kind of leaning towards the earlier, I guess, thought process with Torrential. Again, this is like always felt like awkward having. And my biggest thing with these cards is that they're really redundant because you already have a card in Icarus Attack that mass destruction. So these cards just kind of like double up on that when I don't really feel like it's needed. You need more flexible cards than these. And again, Torrential, it just always feels awkward if you like make like a board of like 2 guys or whatnot. And then Mirror Force, I just kind of sits there while your opponents just like, you never really just want Mirror Force anything that I found, or like they kind of just make it so Mirror Force is irrelevant. So yeah, just don't really like Mirror Force. Side Torrential still. So that's just kind of felt. And then D Prison's probably better than Mirror Force, but still not really a fan. I just hadn't really been impressed with Battle Traps and Blackwings. You kind of won a battle with like stuff like Shura and whatnot, and you also have Colutes to make your guys bigger, so you already kind of do well in the battle phase anyways. And like D Prison is only really good against like a handful of cards. Obviously Machine of Fortress is really annoying to deal with if you don't have something like D Prison, so it's great there. Same with bottom, some Machine of Fortress is nice. This is okay against Absolute Zero. You're probably gonna go like 2 for 1, against Absolute Zero, so it's like you might as well just, I don't know, collude or Icarus attack because you're gonna like lose out against Absolute Zero anyways. It's nice against Card Trooper, it's nice against Sirocco, but at the end of the day, these battle traps are not gonna like win you games, I don't feel like, and you just need more powerful cards to like. Deep Prison's not gonna win. Like people are like, oh, you need Deep Prison for the VU matchup, the Blackwing matchup. At the end of the day, I don't think like battle traps are gonna really make a huge difference in those matchups. You just need like the more sacky cards just to like get you through it. And aside from those two matchups, Deep Prison or Mirror Force really are not that great. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Might be a hot take. And again, these cards can go in and out based on like what the expectation is or how the format's shaping up. So those are kind of like my biggest, or some of my biggest takes. As far as main deck stuff, just blow through the extra deck real quick. There's some talking points here. So some people say play 2 Catastor. I think 1's is fine. I never needed a second one. Android, just, you know, Yo-Yo, Brio, 2 Armed Wing. Kind of just need 2 just in case you have like the Vayu play. Vayu and Sirocco is a lot more common than any of the other Blackwing synchros, so. I see some people say you need 2 Armor Master. I've played a couple hundred games on DB or matches, and recently I've only had one game where I needed a second Armor Master. And even then I didn't really need it. I mean, I still won the game, but I did without it. Got Black Rose, Silver Wind, Stardust Dragon, Dark End Dragon, Dot Ruler Archfiend. People not used to not play this. Probably still good to play. It's really good against something like Frogs, or you know, certain matchups where they just have like just like a ton of like spot removal cards. Like people have like a bunch of Deep Prisons and all that stuff. Good there. Yeah, Colossal Fighter. Really good against something like Titanial, opposing Goyo or whatnot. You got Mistworm. Now a lot of people, this is kind of like you play like a second Arm Master or Mistworm. I think Mistworm's is better because if you ever play against something that makes a big board and you have to play into it, or you play against like a Frog deck where they have like dupe flip flop, you really want something like Mistworm to clear that field. And all you need is Blizzard or with a Collude Engrave, and then he gets you there. And then Fortress, just because we side deck Cyber Dragon. So. Onto the sideboard, we got double Cyber Dragon. Now Cyber Dragon kind of went through a weird phase a couple years ago or a year ago. Like it used to be like auto staple on like most sideboards. Then it was like kind of fell out. The machines started coming back, and then it's like, okay, you need this card. It's also really good for Consecrated Light and several of the matchups, so kind of a staple in Blackwing sideboards at this point. And we got 2 Fossil Dino. Now, I wasn't playing Fossil Dino for like a long time in testing, but recently I was really just having a problem with like surprisingly the Giga Voice matchup, and I think Fossil Dino would probably help out a lot there, because I just kind of auto lose to Starlight Road, or not Starlight Road, I auto lose to like Giant Trinade or Heavy Storm, and I just get killed. So unless I have like Solemn plus Floodgate to stop whatever they're doing, it's not gonna stop Heavy Storm or Giant Trinade, or like Starlight Road even. So with like Fossil Dino, they needed something to clear the Fossil Dino and have like Heavy Storm and Grenade. So I think Fossil Dino is good there. Honestly, it's like you can side against Frogs too, so it's nice there. You can out it with Consecrated Light. So it does a lot of things. It kind of forces them to have the back row removal and something to clear Fossil Dino. You can say, well, Fossil Dino loses hard to Breaker, the Magical Warrior. But, you know, if there's something Breaker, I can deal with Breaker. So that's kind of like how my take is. So you might want to probably have Falsadina. I just didn't really want to play it for a while, but it's really just probably too good not to play. We got Reiko Mind Control, so we're doing this. So we got one Reiko and Mind Control, and these are mostly for Vayu, but anything that sides Consecrated Light, you can also side these. So these are kind of like some orb outs. And we also play 2 Book of Moon. Now, Book of Moon been up and down throughout the years in Edison format. I think it's kind of making a comeback, and I'll explain why. So, you know, and I'm also not playing something like Fissure or Chalice as Consecrated Light outs. Sure, it doesn't target. And you can just out it, and then you can summon like Shura or something. But I think Book of Moon's just like a better all-around card. It's just more flexible in the sideboard, and just better into more decks. Fissure, you kind of just had to hold on to a while, and it's not really doing a whole lot. Book of Moon, you can set it as defense, and this card's just like a really good all-around card. But yeah, you can, if you have like Whirlwind Monster, and you can Book of Moon to Consecrated Light, you can probably just get like a Synchro play. Or if you have a Blizzard in your hand, you can just make like a Goyo Guardian or something and run it over, or Rio play. So I feel like you're rarely just gonna like not gonna be in a spot where you can't Book of Moon a Consecrated Light and capitalize off it. So that was like one thing, was like, oh, you can't Book of Moon the Consecrated Light and then kill it. And then we also have like all these on top of that as well. Another thing about Book of Moon is it's a defensive back row you can play, where it doesn't get just it's not a trap card. So like a lot of people at this point, they play like Royal Decree and Trap Stun against Blackwings, which are pretty good. And you know, Book of Moon's is kind of like a defensive card against that. So your opponent, if you're playing as Gladiator Beast, for example, when they go like Trap Stun and then they go, you know, summon GB, summon Test Tiger, you know, Book of Moon, their turn's over. And they probably just lose the game, to be honest. The Book of Moon is just really good there. And plus it gives you some, Book of Moon is also really good in this deck just because, one, it keeps a guy on board for Sirocco to summon. So if you're like outing stuff like Deep Prisons and Bottomless, you might not get a chance to summon your Sirocco or even your Cyber Dragon. So it just kind of keeps a guy on the board there. It's Shura food, so Shura can just easily run over a guy. And then Bora or Armed Wing Piercing really matters. I've really considered just main decking this card. One, it'll give me more side deck space. But two, I feel like for like all those reasons I mentioned, it could potentially be better than something like Bottomless. Again, Bottomless is only good against like, I mean, it's great against a mirror match for like Shura, keeping stuff out of the grave and keeping guys off the field for their Whirlwind. But again, it gives you something to run over and whatnot for your Shura. It's only really good against like Fortress, Titanial. I mean, it's kind of okay against Absolute Zero. You're probably gonna go nag on the scenario like 2-for-1 at least. Outside of that, I mean, there's not a whole lot that Bottomless is really good against. Book of Moon like can stop like a Substitute play just from going crazy. It's good against Gigavice, like compared to Bottomless Trap Hole. Say you Bottomless like a Gigaplant, okay, DDR back, continue with my day. They summon Gigaplant, they attach Supervise to it, and you just Book of Moon, and then their turn's over, pretty much. So yeah, I feel like this Book of Moons is like a whole lot more flexible than something like Bottomless. There's some scenarios where you obviously want Bottomless more, but this card is, you can do so much with it on your turn, your opponent's turn. So I really feel like I've been highly considering just playing Book of Moon over something like Bottomless. I know it might sound crazy, but when people, I kind of like the side deck for people's side decks. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if they're siding stuff to, you know, decrees, trap stuns, the stuff that like wreck your traps. Doesn't really make sense to side more traps, and I'll let rather like counter side their side. So I bring in Book of Moons, for example. So I hope that makes sense. This was like something I just really wanted to talk about. I feel like this card's just in a nice spot for Blackwings. Really good against several matchups. Sure, it's not like a blowout card, obviously, but I feel like it's just like really beneficial for Blackwings overall. We got 3-point rug. This is for like the frog. These can be, one of these could be a Dark Illusion, which Dark Illusion has like some more flexibility in the pulling the rug in some aspects, and it also kind of counts as a third pulling the rug as well, because most likely they're gonna be like, this is mostly just for monarchs really against like frogs, and most of the time they're gonna be targeting your monster with a Caius, a Ryza, whatnot. So pulling the rugs is really good. And my favorite thing, I feel like this build of Blackwings, like some people may say like, oh well, Blackwings don't have like a great frog matchup. I feel like this particular build has like a really nice frog matchup, because one, you got the Yada, the Jars, and what I made like 2 deck dev. So a lot of times, even Forgs, like you can just like body Forgs or frogs with deck dev alone in the main deck. But the Jar and Yadas really just like mask the pulling the rugs being set, because like if you set 2, your opponent's gonna go like standby phase, Raigeki break, trying to snipe 1 card. So they have like a lot of cards that, Dust Tornadoes, Raigeki breaks, whatnot. If they snipe wrong, you get the draw card, and then you still have the pulling the rug. So you can kind of like mask, just like kind of bluff like which one is like a pulling a rug and whatnot. So I kind of like this rather than just having like some kind of floodgate like Master Restrict, because if you have like Master Restrict up, they obviously know, hey, that's Master Restrict, need to get rid of that card. Whereas like they kind of have to make it play the waste of normal summon to walk into like a potential pulling the rug. So I hope that makes sense of why I like Rogue so much with like the draw traps. And then we got 2 Dust Tornado. Was playing with trying to like with 2 or 3, but I just didn't have like enough space. Like this is obviously pretty solid against a mirror. It's you don't really want to take out a lot against a mirror as is, and trying to fit 3 Dust Tornado against the mirrors is kind of hard. So I think 2's fine. Sure, you can try to fit 3, but you just kind of want to make it so they don't go crazy with their whirlwinds, and that's kind of what Dust Tornado is for. And we have 1 Torrential. Again, this is nice against like combo decks, frogs. You just make their do frog this timing if they ever go for like a do block or whatnot. So kind of good there. Potentially like a main deck card, but I kind of already talked about that. But again, it kind of works pretty well with like the draw traps, because you can kind of mask where it's at. And then my last sideboard card is Transmigration Prophecy. Again, really nice against something like Vayu Turbo. Can't really, I mean, you can play DD Crow, but you really just need to kind of hit like 2 threats on 1 shot. Really good if you go like hit Necrogardener and like a Vayu or something like that, or they go Plague Effect, you go, okay, get rid of Plague and Vayu, then their play might be dead. So it's only a 1-of, but I feel like it's a pretty solid card if you get to see it against Vayu. Now, I'm probably gonna get roasted again, but I am not playing Royal Oppression in the deck at all. Again, most people side deck 2 of this card. I just haven't really been impressed. Whenever anyone plays against Blackwing, like combo decks or whatnot, like they were just going all out to stop something like Royal Oppression. They could bring in the Decrees, the Dust Tornadoes, trap stuns. What I don't really like is, okay, so if everyone's siding those cards, Dust Tornado in particular, Dust Tornado is like already pretty good against Blackwings because it removes Black Ruin. But when you bring in something like Royal Oppression, you're just doubling up on good stuff Dust Tornado hits. And you kind of like strike fear into people where make things like, you kind of make it so they get rewarded for holding their dust tornadoes or whatnot, rather than just like, or Raigeki breaks. Like, they're thinking, okay, I have to hold my outs to roll oppression for when they flip it. You know, you're just kind of making it rewarding them for, you're side rewarding hate for oppression, and you're bringing in oppression. I don't know. I just feel like you're just like walking into what they want you to do. But it's kind of like the deck devastation virus thing, where people are like, oh well, you don't really want to, you know, you don't want to side deck dev because people are going to take their deck dev cards out, that they're going to like lower the deck dev count and adjust. Well, it's kind of like the same thing with oppression. They're going to like take out some cards that just lose to oppression and bring in more outs to oppression. And oppression, I feel like most decks have adapted. If you're playing against GBs, you know, they have all this stuff to stop your normal summons and to stop roll oppression. So typically, if you normal summon any of these guys, they have balance trap holes to stop all your normal summons for your big guys. Yep, okay, so we got that covered. And so if you're ever in a situation where you oppression a GB player on their turn, they're gonna go trap stun, make a Heraclinos if they can, and then they're gonna sit on Heraclinos while you have roll oppression face up on the field. And if you're ever holding like Dark Arm or Blizzard, now you're staring down a Heraclinos. When you have these guys in your hand, you can't special summon because you got oppression on your field, and it's gonna be hard to land these normal summons to do anything to clear the Heraclinos, because they're gonna have like the deep prisons, the bottomless, trap holes, whatnot. And then you can't activate spells and traps to out the Heraclinos. So it just really comes messy. Even against GBs, like if you do resolve oppression, this becomes kind of like a burn spell, because again, they have all these ways to stop your guys from landing on the field. So you can't really like do anything. You can't special summon because you got oppression up. So what it kind of turns into, they go, okay, attack with the quarry. Okay, you take 1800. They go spin the quarry. You burn yourself for 800 more. And it kind of just cycles like that until you can land a summon. And it kind of really awkward and like a not a great situation for you. So I guess like the hot discussion cards of this was Royal Oppression, Book of Moon being good, and I guess like not main decking battle traps. So those were like my my big talking points. I know this is really a long deck profile video for Blackwings, but I try to give like a lot of thought into these decks before I just like, oh, here's my Blackwing deck, you know, cookie cutter Blackwing deck. I'm not trying just to be different, just to be different. This is just kind of like my honest thoughts with the deck. You know, Blackwings are kind of an awkward spot. Like obviously they still do good. It's still a top deck, but you know, if you look at the field, you don't really have like great matchups. I guess with this particular build, I kind of like the Frog matchup, just the way with the draw traps and all that stuff, the deck devs in the main. Yeah, just let me know your thoughts down below if you like these theories or whatnot. Again, this was kind of like a deck profile and discussion video I wanted to have. And I guess Nationals is next weekend, Ultimate Time Wizard and the Ribbit in Indy. So great time for if you're thinking about playing Blackwings, maybe give these ideas some consideration. Again, Blackwings is Blackwings. You can roll with the list from, you know, 3 years ago and probably just do just fine. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next one.